The late afternoon sun painted the park in a warm golden glow. Children's laughter rang through the air, mingling with the rustle of leaves and the faint sound of a basketball bouncing on the nearby court. Sarah, a single mom in her early 30s, sat quietly on a bench, watching her 7-year-old son, Jacob, chase after his toy truck in the sandbox. Sarah had grown used to stares and whispers. Being a single mother in a small town wasn't always easy. But she had learned to hold her head high, ignoring the judgment. Today, however, things were different. 3 teenage boys, clearly older and stronger than most kids in the park, leaned against their bikes near the swings. They laughed loudly, their voices cutting across the peaceful atmosphere like knives. It didn't take long before their attention turned to Sarah. "Hey, Jacob's mom," one of them shouted mockingly, "where's your husband?" "Oh, that's right, he ditched you." The other two cackled, clapping each other on the back as if the insult was the funniest thing they'd ever heard. Sarah stiffened. She kept her eyes on Jacob, pretending not to hear, but her son's small hands had frozen in the sand. He glanced back at her, his little face tightening with confusion and shame. "Bet she spends all her time crying on that bench," another bully sneered, his voice loud enough to draw the eyes of other parents. "Who'd want to marry someone like her anyway?" Sarah's stomach twisted. She wanted to yell, to fight back, but her years of struggle had taught her patience, and silence. Yet inside, her blood boiled. She could endure their mockery, but seeing Jacob's spirit dim in front of her was unbearable. The boys grew bolder. One kicked Jacob's truck into the grass. "Oops, guess you don't have a dad to fix your toys either," he taunted. Jacob's cheeks flushed as he scrambled after it, his tiny hands shaking. Sarah finally stood, her voice calm but firm. "That's enough. Leave us alone." But the boys only laughed harder. "Or what, you gonna cry, lady?" one said, stepping closer with arrogant swagger. The whole park seemed to hold its breath. Sarah's fists clenched at her sides, her heart pounding, but before she could react, a shadow stretched across the ground. A tall, broad-shouldered figure stepped silently behind the boys. His presence was commanding, almost suffocating. The chatter of the park dimmed. "Is there a problem here?" The boys froze. They turned and looked up into the piercing gaze of a man whose calm voice carried the weight of authority. He wasn't dressed in uniform, but everything about him radiated discipline and strength. Sarah's eyes widened, relief flooding through her. It was her brother, Daniel. A Navy SEAL. He had returned from deployment just days ago, and today he had promised to meet her at the park. None of them knew he had arrived early. The bullies exchanged nervous glances, but the cockiest of the three smirked, trying to mask his fear. "Who are you supposed to be?" "Her boyfriend." Daniel's lips curved into a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "I'm her brother." He took a slow step closer, towering over them now. "And you just made the biggest mistake of your lives." The tallest bully tried to puff up his chest. "We were just joking, man. No big deal." His voice cracked, betraying the unease in his eyes. Daniel studied them, his gaze sharp and unyielding. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Years of military training gave him a calm authority that demanded respect. Mocking a mother in front of her child, Daniel said slowly, his tone like steel, "Isn't a joke. It's cowardice." The second boy shifted on his feet, his smirk fading. "We weren't trying to hurt anyone." Daniel took another step forward, and the three boys instinctively stepped back. "You think you're tough, ganging up on a woman and a kid. I've dealt with men twice your size and 10 times your strength, and you know what? They broke faster than you will if you keep this up." The park was silent. Parents who had been watching from a distance now leaned in, sensing something important unfolding. Even Jacob, clutching his truck to his chest, stared at his uncle with wide-eyed awe. The lead bully swallowed hard. His bravado slipped away, leaving only the scared teenager he really was. "Look, we're sorry, okay? We didn't mean it." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "You're not apologizing to me." He tilted his head towards Sarah and Jacob. "You owe them an apology." For a moment, the boys hesitated, but Daniel's unwavering stare pinned them in place. One by one, they muttered apologies, their voices barely above a whisper. Sarah watched, stunned. Never in her life had she seen anyone silence arrogant bullies so completely, and with so few words. "Louder," Daniel demanded. The boys straightened, their faces red. "We're sorry, Mom." "Sorry, kid," they said in unison, voices shaky but audible this time. Sarah's heart swelled as she placed a protective arm around Jacob. "Thank you," she said softly, her eyes glistening with gratitude. Daniel finally nodded, satisfied. "Now, get out of here. And think twice before you try to humiliate someone again." The bullies didn't need to be told twice. They grabbed their bikes and pedaled away as fast as they could, their earlier arrogance completely shattered. The onlookers slowly began to applaud, a ripple of admiration spreading across the park. Jacob tugged on Daniel's sleeve. "Uncle Daniel, you scared him away." His little face lit up with pride. Daniel crouched down, his expression softening as he ruffled Jacob's hair. "No, buddy, I didn't scare them. They scared themselves when they realized what they were doing was wrong. Always remember, real strength is about protecting people, not hurting them." Sarah blinked back tears. For so long, she had carried the weight of judgment and loneliness, but in that moment, with her brother standing tall beside her and her son beaming with pride, she felt lighter than ever before. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Sarah knew one thing for sure: her family wasn't just surviving anymore. They were standing stronger than ever.